That you marry is going to impact your life no matter what, either positively or negatively. So I feel like there's a chance, especially now. I used to say that the pod has not impacted the way I view relationships and all that kind of stuff. That's a lie. It has definitely. There are things that have come up in the pod that I didn't even know that I needed to be aware of. So of course I'm very, my eyes are.
Do you have an example? I'm trying to think.
For me, do you know what I've still been thinking about? That dilemma that we did with Charlie Mace, where the guy was like, he married the woman because she was perfect, but he was never in love with her. I've been thinking about that one day and night.
Sweating in my dreams.
No, legit. I even brought
turning, tossing and turning.
Yeah, no, it's a legit
There's
reason.
a lot of stuff that has come up that I'm like, rah, like there's things that you really, especially as we get older, a lot of people have just settled because it's kind of like, well, the time is now, not because that they're necessarily over the moon to be marrying this person. Whereas I always maintain that when I marry someone, I want it to be because it's like, I'm so in love with this person. This person is my person. I can't think of anything better than to tie my life with them and marry them. Not, oh, I'm 30 something now. This is the best I can find. Let me marry. No, it's not that. I'm only marrying because I think this person is worth marrying, not marrying because I need a person. Do you know what I mean?
But you know that you can only be in control of yourself.
Yeah, I know. But why do you say that?
Because the other person, they could be settling with you.
Yeah, well, I hope that they're not.
Yeah, that's
true. I hope that I see the signs as well.
But sometimes that's the thing. I don't think.
No, that's what I say. It's always a risk.
It's always a risk. That's what sometimes I have conversation with myself with is kind of like, okay, even if I view you.
Whenever you say you have a conversation with yourself,
I just picture
Tammy in her room by the mirror in the corner,
looking,
talking.
Bruv, I have conversations with myself all the time. Like I like my own.
Yeah, facts. Same.
There's no one's gonna check me more than me.
Who gonna check you, boo?
Who gonna check me, boo? Yeah, so, I'll have the conversation with myself. Like, okay, am I ready to accept that there could be a possibility that the person that I end up with, I just might be that person's last stop on the bus. Like I might not.
And honestly, I don't even mind.
Me neither.
Well, I was gonna say, as long as I don't know, and I feel like, and this sounds kind of crazy, and maybe this is like settling in a way. I don't know, but my thing is like sometimes you just won't know. Like sometimes you just won't know if your friends are talking about you. Sometimes 100%. You just won't know if you're your mum's favorite child. Sometimes you just won't know.
Yeah.
And you can live your. It's not everything that
you need to know.
Yeah, it's not everything you must know.
You don't need to know.
I agree.
As long as you're content and happy with the relationships that you have.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I would never want to like go through any of my friends' phones and type in Sharon. Let me see all the nasty things that they've been saying about me. No, because that conversation was not meant for me.
I've been mean as well. I expect people to chat about me.
Bruv.
But that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I know. Sorry, I'm just making a sad comment.
Yeah. Making is that sometimes you just don't need to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you're not meant to know. That's why I'm just like, do you know what? I'm fine with.
I can't lie, I'm looking for it. No, okay, let me.
Hey,
sorry.
Hey,
I jumped to a sentence that I
She
said
jumped before she could fly.
Yeah, before when you said about circumstance though, for example, when I look now, I definitely look at the environment that certain people are in. I feel like I will be more content unless I really believe this person is a leader, first mover kind of person. I don't mind it and I prefer it if you're surrounded by people who are in spaces that like I would aspire us to be. So for example, dating somebody that is surrounded by people that are married, having families, prioritizing that. I look at that environment and think that's a nice environment to be in. And I understand the challenges that come with an environment where everybody around you is completely single, that everybody's cheating around them, blah, blah, blah. Because basically, you know the point we're talking about where we said that you can see it in boys groups where one person gets married, another group gets married. And I get that. Yeah, it's a bit like, you look at them like, you're just doing it. But sometimes your environment does help shape who you are and shape your mindset. Like, for example, I've said, I know the reason, truthfully, why I don't feel like any sort of thing when it comes to being single is because majority of the people around me are single. Like, that's just fact. I know it. Like, if everybody else had found their person, was even popping babies around me constantly, I know I would be feeling some type of way. So that's why, like, not that I'm saying that, again, I understand that can still be a bit awkward, you know, oh yeah, that people, maybe he's just with that girl because these boys are, whatever you may think. But I do believe that certain environments I'm leaning more towards than the other. Like,
yeah, but I don't think, like, it's, again, I don't think it's mutually exclusive. Like, it could have been a situation where, for example, I heard Manny from Bread and Butter say this, and I think it's so true. People, like, when you're surrounded by people who have achieved certain things, you feel more encouraged to also
100.
So if you're in a group where everyone's bought a house, like, you're probably thinking, like, I should also, like, get on the property ladder, right? But if you're in a group where nobody's bought a house, you're probably not prioritizing that.
Yeah.
Because your environment nurtures the way in which you
100%.
think, right? So I think it's totally fine to be surrounded by people who are in marriage and seem to be happy. That's the thing, because you're not going to see somebody married and unhappy and think, I want that for myself.
Of course not. Yeah.
You see your boys, they're married, they're happy.
Yeah.
You call them, phone happy now, Sha.
That's my point, which is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, that sort of thing.
But what I was going to say, though, is I don't think that you should now, by any means necessary, just be like, well, I want to feel amongst, so I will just find the next best thing. Like, I think you can, this two can be true. You can be encouraged that you want to find, like, you want to get married, but also still be like, let me be intentional about finding somebody worth marrying.
Of course.
But I don't think
fundamentally,
people being like, well, it's obvious that he's only with that girl because.
Well, it's not that it's obvious. But, you know, for example, like I said, certain things fuel you to take certain things seriously. For example, like I said, I'm not really that intentional about dating. Like, I don't feel any pressure to go out there and, like, now start making moves. For example, when I'm surrounded by people that have money, I can see people doing sort of things. It makes me more motivated to go and start prioritizing certain things, right? So my point is that I understand what you're trying to say. Obviously, you just being surrounded by them, I'm not saying that you're just going to pick any Tom, Dick and Harry off the street, but at least it makes you think, oh, this is actually something I should be thinking about, or, oh, actually, I see something beautiful. Let me now put that as a priority over other things. I don't mind being in a situation where, and I think I'm starting to prefer it, particularly at this age where there's a shift. There's a group of people that are either heading down that direction, or there are a group of people that are either gone that direction and it's failed and now starting afresh, or they just not taking it seriously at all. I don't think it's that crazy to now be like, you know what, I actually want someone that's a bit more surrounded by healthy relationships, because they're more likely to
Nothing crazy about that.
Yeah, I know, but basically what I'm trying to say is that in that situation, some people will take it as what you're talking about, which is circumstance, which is I'm now at the age where, people are around me are getting into marriages and stuff. Now it probably makes sense for me to actually prioritize that. Doesn't mean they're not intentional about me, but it's still a trigger, which is what I'm saying that but you're the example that you're talking about, which is just like, I don't want to hear that, you know, I was only chosen because of the circumstance, or, you know, the example with this guy where it was like, oh, I got to 30 and now I'm choosing a partner. Sometimes I actually don't mind. I don't think it's as negative.
I think it's fine not to mind it as long as the person actually loves you. The issue with that scenario or that dilemma was the fact that he actually just settled. He was never in love with her. He never loved her. Like,
well. Who do we have here? Somebody that thought they were gonna get this content for free. Joker. If you guys want to watch the full episode, make sure you click the link below.